Welcome to day 4 of the In Her Image podcast. I am Andrea John, and I'm so glad that you are continuing this 31-day journey through the wisdom of Proverbs 31. In the last few episodes, we've explored how the Proverbs 31 woman exemplifies God's character in her daily life. And today, we're diving into a powerful call to action, how to pursue wholeness in all of our interactions. We'll be exploring what it means to bring restoration to the brokenness around us and how we can use our influence to make things right. Let's dive into today's verse from Proverbs 31:9. It reads, "Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy." Lemuel's mother calls us to speak up and judge fairly. But there's more to it than just being fair. She's urging him to actively pursue restoration on what is broken, to bring wholeness into situations that are fractured. This isn't just about making sure everyone is treated equally. It's about restoring what has been lost, ensuring justice is served in a way that heals and makes people whole again. In the ancient world, kings were entrusted with much more than power and wealth. They were seen as leaders who could bring peace and justice to the land. They were tasked with hearing all sides, making decisions that were not only fair, but would actively restore peace and bring healing to broken relationships, communities, and lives. Today, we may not sit on thrones, but the principle still applies. In our own lives, we are often presented with situations where we need to speak up, act justly, and restore wholeness. Whether it's a conflict in our family, workplace, or community, we all have the opportunity to reflect God's heart by restoring what is broken. This requires more than fairness. It requires wisdom, compassion, and a commitment to a whole person. True justice isn't just about balancing scales. It's about lifting up the marginalized, defending the voiceless, and bringing healing to the broken places. This verse calls us to use our influence and voice to create environments where dignity, respect, and integrity flourish. Reflect on your own life. How are you practicing justice in your relationships, in your community, and in your world? Are you striving to restore brokenness and pursue wholeness? God's call to reflect His heart by ensuring justice goes beyond just fairness, but aiming to heal and restore. God, as judge, is the ultimate example of justice. God, as judge, is the ultimate example of justice. He doesn't just right wrongs. He restores shalom, peace, completeness, and wholeness. God's justice is rooted in love and reconciliation, bringing healing to a broken world. As His children, we are called to reflect this aspect of God's nature in our lives. When God exercises judgment, it's not about retribution, but about bringing people back into alignment with His perfect design. His justice heals, restores, and brings wholeness. In the same way, we are called to pursue justice that brings healing, whether it's restoring broken relationships, advocating for those who are oppressed, or speaking up for the voiceless. To live in her image is to reflect God's justice not only by seeking fairness, but actively pursuing restoration. It's about using our influence to heal, to restore, and to bring about wholeness in all areas of our lives. Today's reflection question is, how does pursuing wholeness change the way you view justice and judgment? Today, I encourage you to reflect on an area in your life where you can pursue wholeness. Where do you see brokenness in your relationships, community, or work? How can you restore what is lost? Whether it's offering forgiveness, standing up for someone in need, or taking action in an issue in your community, choose one way today to reflect God's justice by working to restore wholeness. Thank you so much for joining me today for day 4 of In Her Image. I hope today's message has inspired you to reflect on how you can pursue wholeness in all your interactions, whether through advocating for justice or restoring broken relationships. Remember, justice is more than being fair. It's about healing and making things whole again. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might need to hear this message. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the next episode as we continue exploring the Proverbs 31 woman and what it means to reflect God's image in our daily lives. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to leave a review and share this podcast with someone who needs to hear it. Join the conversation. Reach out to me on social media or leave a comment below. How are you pursuing justice and restoring wholeness in your life today? I can't wait to hear from you. See you tomorrow as we continue our journey together.